I need to clamp down a couple pipes to a grain auger on a project I'm working on. And I thought I'd bring you guys along on making these little tube clamps. To make these tube clamps, you're going to need your pins, you're going to need a C-clamp, your square block, the right angle attachment, your 1-inch die, the 1.5-inch die, and a 6-inch piece of strap iron with each end marked 1 3/4 inch back. And of course you'll need your bender. To start this operation, you need to take your height rest, put it in the second hole, but down here. Put your block so the thin side is towards you and the thick side is on your left. I realize you guys are looking at this backwards. There we go, finally. Put your 1-inch die on the pivot. Put your 1.5-inch die on the first hole. Slide your strap iron in. I like to put the chalk pointing out this way. That way I can tell when I'm on the center line by looking in this way. And when you're looking in there, make sure your chalk line is past center. And by center, I'm talking about the center between these two pins, with your line coming off of there. So your chalk line should be right below that point. And make sure you put it actually a little bit past, because you can always trim off the long part. I will show you how to line that up when I do this next bend. I'll put the camera over here. Also make sure your strap iron is flat. What is the correct word here? Make sure your strap iron is level. You know, you're not cocked in at an angle this way or that way. And then pull it around. Still didn't get quite past the line, did I? Yeah, pretty close. Alright, anyway, do the other side, and I'll show you how I line that up. I left the handle open so you can see better, but you can see the chalk line is centered on the pin when looking past your block here. The chalk line I made earlier comes off just exactly like this. And if you want, you can leave the handle open, pull your die out, swing back around, put your dies back in, and you're good to go. Also, if you want repeatability, you could measure in here. We know this is a 1-inch die, so to the center of that is 1/2 inch. So we want 1 3/4 inch in, so it should be 1 1/4 inch, and that's just a little bit over. You can set up your stop, so every time you just pull the strap iron to that point, clamp it down, and make your bend. Then we'll tear everything down. So now we have this odd looking piece. And we move this over, and we just drop in our pin, no die on there. We use a 1-inch die out here on what was the pivot. The stop gets moved back to the center hole. The right angle attachment goes in like this. The correct way to put in the right angle attachment is so that this tail hits on this back pin here. And that is the second hole. Okay. And then slide in our part. Yeah, I forgot. Take it back out. Okay, after your part's in there, then you can put in your 1-inch die. There we go. Now make sure your part is hooked on this pin. From this angle you can see that the curve of the strap is hooked on the pivot pin. And you can see that we're over one hole, so we're pivoting on the first hole instead of the pivot hole. Alright, now keep pressure on that strap iron, kind of pull it out a little bit. Make sure your ring isn't going to hit here. And then bend, but don't bend it all the way around. Go until when you sight down it, the end of the strap iron is in line with your strap iron, if that makes any sense. If you figure out where you want to bend to, you put in your stop. That's pretty close. And this bend, we just come around, hit our stop. And there's a nice piece. See, I actually went a little bit too far on that bend. And I didn't think I was past at all. So, then flip it around. Do the other side. Yep, did much better on that one. That's alright, this isn't too hard to fix. You can just take it over and give it a good whack or pull it back in the vise real quick. I'm actually going to do mine in the press real quick. You can do this in a vise too. It flattens out real easy. Alright. So there's your tube clamp. And just drill whatever size of hole you want in it. So if you like this video, let me know.